In this video, I want to talk to you about how to make reading easier. So if you want to read more, then these tips may help you. And so I am a big reader, and but of course, life can get away from me, and I can be busy and not read. But I find that reading is so important to me. It's so I would like, it's a hobby. It's important to me. I like to be able to sit and read, and I typically just read spiritual development, personal development, self-improvement. That's all I read. I don't read any fiction, not yet anyway. I've been trying, but I don't read any fiction at the moment. But how to make reading easier is you can just start with 2 pages at a time. And so I have been reading David Green. He's an author. The books he wrote, The Daily Laws or Mastery or 48 Laws of Power. And I believe that he's a good author. I believe that he has good things to share. And so he's a hard read for me though. And so I just have to read 2 pages at a time, and then I can go do something else. I get bored easy too, but so he's a hard read. So I just read 2 pages at a time. So if you have to read just 2 pages at a time, just do that. If you're really, trying to get into reading and you're struggling, just start with a paragraph. What can you get out of that paragraph? What can you apply? That's really what it's about, because if you read and don't apply, it don't do you any good. You want to be able to read and apply what you're learning. You want to be able to get something out of what you're reading. And so try to read 2 pages at a time. Try to read for 10 minutes. Try to read during a commercial. Try to read in short bursts. Read hardcover books. So I've noticed that the pages are easier to read to me. In a hardcover books, the words are bigger. In a paperback, the words are harder to read. Not hard to read, but it's just there's a difference in how the words are laid out on the page. And so if you have trouble, maybe a hardcover book would be better. If you have trouble with seeing, you use readers, maybe a large, if you can find a large print book. So it just kind of depends on what it is that what your preferences are. And the more you read or the more you buy books, you'll see, or the more you go to a bookstore and you start looking at the books, you'll see how different books are laid out. Sometimes the font is small, sometimes the font is bigger, and it makes it easier to read. Sometimes there's a lot of white space and it makes it easier to read. The next one is read short books. Just start out with some short books and get some wins, build some momentum. Just start with short books and start reading them. And then just think about, okay, what did you get out of the book? What can you apply? What did you really learn from the book? The next one is, like I said, read for 5 minutes, read for 10 minutes. Just read it a short period of time. Start with a paragraph. Read something that you're interested in, that you want to get better at. Just pick a book something that you're really, really passionate about. You want to get better at it. You want to learn it. And start there. Start reading there. Read 1 chapter at a time. So I typically read 10 to 20 books at a time. I know I have ADHD, but so I read 1 chapter at a time. And so I used to just read, 2 pages or 4 pages out of a book, and then I go to the next book. But I found that when I came back to that book, I had forgotten what I had read, or all the pages, all the books started to run together. Like all the 10 books would start, everything kind of, run together. And so if I read 1 chapter, then I've kind of got the main point of that chapter. Then I can go to the next book and then come back the next day for the next chapter in that book. But I always try to finish 1 chapter after I start reading. Like I said, you can read 1 sentence if you want to, 1 paragraph. You can listen to a book, so you can listen on Audible. You can play it on twice the speed, 2x speed, and so you can get a lot out of a book by listening to it. You can 2x speed. Sometimes it's a little too fast. You got to go to 1.8, but you can listen to a book and really get a lot out of it. Write your thoughts on what you read. So if you read 1 sentence or you read 1 paragraph, write what were your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Could you apply something that you read? Did they make a good point? Is it something that you want to remember? Make it fun. You can highlight in your book. You have different color highlights that mean certain things. You can tab with the little book tabs. And so, one color may be something that you're going to use for your speaking. One color may be something that is for you that you want to go back and apply or go back and do the exercise. One thing might be something that you want to share with your audience on social media. There's different things that you can do and you can make it fun. They make see-through or clear sticky notes that you can put right down on the page, and you can make yourself a note. You can write your thoughts right there on the page if that's something that you're interested in doing. But there's a lot of different options that you have. The next one is look at the payoff. So depending on what you're reading, could you have more success? Could you decrease your fear? Could you improve your communication skills? Could you increase your sales? So think about what the payoff is. What is the purpose of reading this book? Are you trying to learn something? Are you relaxing? Are you stepping away from life and you want something fiction, something fun? But just think about the payoff, or is it just so you can relax? Relaxing is good. I mean, it reduces our stress. We can unwind. Most of us are going to sleep better if we read right before we go to bed, particularly if it's, depending on what it is. Look at, so the reason why to me reading is so important is because we can save time and money, because we can read a book that somebody gave us 30 years of life experience in 250 pages for $20. So that's going to save us time and money. So books compress time and money. They teach us something that would take us, 10 years or so to learn. We can learn from somebody else's experience. And to me, that it's better to learn from somebody else's experience than your own, because you're going to waste more time and more money. Think about, realize that everyone has a story. We all have had hardships. And when you read books, you see everybody, you see their story. You see what happened. You see what they've been through. You see how they overcame. You see how they persisted, how they had faith. They believed in themselves. They were consistent. And when you read, you're constantly reading. It helps your mindset. It helps you to improve. It helps you to know you just keep going, because if they made it, you can make it, especially when you see what they've been through. And so a lot of people who have great success have been through a lot of hard times. The next thing to make reading easier is to do it every day. You can schedule it. You can say, okay, I'm going to read 20 minutes. From 7 to 7:20, I'm going to read. Or from, 4 to 5, I'm going to read. So just schedule it and then do it. Protect that time. Make sure that during the time that you're supposed to be reading, that you're reading. So schedule it. You can read during commercials. I found that people who struggle with reading, if they just read during a commercial is 3 minutes sometimes. You can read 2 pages or whatever it is. You can read during that commercial. You can get a lot out of a book in a commercial, during a commercial. And then the last one is to track your reading. And so you might track the pages that you're reading, the number of pages that you're reading. You might track the amount of time that you're reading. You might track the lessons that you're learning. You might track quotes. So just think about, what can you do to make reading, what are these, out of these things, these tips, what can you do to make reading more fun or make reading easier for you to do so that you'll do it? Reading has so many benefits. It will change your life. It will improve your life. It will help you to reach your goals. And so think about reading even in small bits and pieces. Just start small if you have to, and just start reading, and then just build on it from there.